What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. Look, y'all, the cats are out of the bag, the skeletons that fell out of the closet, and the secret babies and the ex-boyfriends, well, they have all been exposed. Let's talk about it. It's season two, it's episode. I'm gonna go over 7 and 8 because I took a little break last week. They really weren't offering much, to be honest, last week, so this feels like a full review. Yeah, once the um people start leaving the house, it gets a little, less stuff for you to talk about. These people are kind of doing the same thing that they were doing when they first got over here, y'all. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. It's really like only takes a second. When I mention it, like go ahead and click it. You're gonna like it. We about to have fun. We're about to talk about these people over here in this house. Let's start with Kiki and Brandon. Episode 7, Kiki and Brandon offered absolutely nothing. So there really isn't anything to talk about over there, but we're almost to the end of this process. And now Kiki has decided it seems like it's about time for her to share her secret. That's not really a secret, it's just information that she hasn't shared with Brandon. She's hoping, like deep down in her little heart, that Brandon has also been over here living his best life in Alabama, make her feel a little bit better about being a sneaky little liar over there in Atlanta. I don't know how Kiki is gonna make you feel better for Brandon to say he was been cheating too. Like, so well, then what are we doing? We came over here. You first of all, I feel like I say that a lot, but we need to go back a little bit. 4 years is a long time. If you have a 4 year relationship with someone that you haven't met, that's just your, out of town friend, it's not a relationship, not the kind that, involves intimacy and things like that. You could talk about it, but you can't really be about it until y'all meet each other. Otherwise, it's just like some, I don't know, what do you call that online phone sex? Sexting and stuff. Anyway, that's all y'all been doing. If you're living with your boyfriend Kiki, who is making you feel like not like you want to be there, and I understand you've been with this boy man now since it's 8 years. That's most of your 20s. And people have different reasons for hanging on to their relationships far longer than they need to. Kiki has said she's dealt with insecurities, and we not gonna skip the elephant in the room. When you're a bigger, plus size woman, I feel like, especially as a young girl, you do have more struggles. In Atlanta, at that, honey, Atlanta is filled with nothing but beautiful women. So, not that Kiki isn't beautiful, but I feel like we all have insecurities, and she's not different than any of us, as a young girl. So that part I get. You cannot then start another relationship, though. If you have been honest and you told this man, Brandon, that you were in a relationship with someone and it was very hard for you, and you shared that honest part of you with him, y'all could have started fresh from here, from meeting. But you didn't do that. You came over here with a lie that you've been holding on to for, I don't know. You just said you left the first of the year. It's barely June, so that's not that long ago, Kiki. Um, Also, you've been with the man for 8 years, and when the people asked you, did you still love him? You didn't answer the question. Now, it was a long pause, and long pauses mean what they mean. So you didn't say, nah, no, I'm past it. And just based on a little life experience, it's way easier to move into something new and fresh and honest when you're all done with the last thing and had a little bit of time to ground yourself. You're about to be dirty 30. You probably are by now. So you're going into your 30s, should be with a different mindset. Be around people that are going to boost your positive energy and not be, playing on your insecurities. Anybody can do that. It can happen at work. It can happen in so many places. So Try to remove yourself from that child, but you can't go through life lying about relationships that haven't ended when you move yourself into another one. There's no way to make that a good foundation. So this man is supposed to go into it accepting whatever. Whatever you said, just accept it and get over it. Hurry up, please. What is her sign? Kiki's best friend and Brandon's brother come to visit. This is episode 8. All of it has been. Like I said, they didn't do anything last week. They sit down with their people. Kiki immediately starts telling her friend how Brandon was over here having an issue, saying that I have a drinking problem. I'm guessing we're missing parts of the conversation. I'm hoping that's not where she started with her friend, but her friend came over here. Friend, I don't blame you for not saying much over here because at the end of the day, Kiki, your friend didn't seem like she was trying to go down that road with you. Seems like she'd been told you a long time ago that you need to tell this boy that whatever you was doing over there. She doesn't seem so comfortable with it. She done left her kids with a babysitter to come over here just for you to be in this mess. And she's like, the friend's like, why did you like bring this up now when I'm here? Kiki has a lot of comfort people, friend. So you're one of her comfort people too, seems like. And it seems like when she gets herself into a tizzy and she doesn't really want to explain herself out of it, she'll get her friend to come over here and help her make sense of things. And friend, you can't really make sense of anything that your friend is doing over here. Besides being selfish. Being selfish, Kiki. Um, I'm not saying Brandon's perfect by any means, because he's got his issues too, but you know, we talking about Kiki first. In the other room, Brandon is in here telling his brother like she's a heavy drinker. Brandon, if she's not your type, then why are you pressing it? You should probably, Brandon talks about having, dealt with a stepfather that, was alcoholic and how he's triggered from that. And I get it. And, this brother, I'm so confused, y'all, by the brother. Just the way their storytelling happens. So Brandon says, and it doesn't matter except for that y'all like when people lie for nothing, it's just concerning. So Brandon, I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just saying I'm confused. The brother was his stepbrother. He said his father was Brandon's stepfather. And I'm like, so are they with the this boy said he's been with Brandon since he was 5 years old. They've been brothers since 5 years old. This is the story they're telling. And brother's father is Brandon's stepfather. Now, when they later on talking about the alcoholism in the family, brother says he remembers when Brandon went through all of that and having to take care of the other siblings and things. But I'm like, so where was you, brother? Did this person come after? Did this stepfather come after brother's father? I don't know. It really don't matter. But like I said, it was just confusing the way this is my brother. Like when Jared's sister came last week, it was this is my sister. There wasn't no whole lot of explanation about things, but hey, y'all brought it in and it confused me, so I'm talking about it now. Somebody please explain it to me. Anyway, he's over here telling his brother that she's a heavy drinker and, painting this picture of her, in a negative way. They both did the same thing. And like I said, I hope that they didn't go over there and start there. I think Brandon should pursue someone who doesn't drink alcohol at all and who has more very old traditional values because, a modern woman, Brandon, is not going to come in here letting you tell her what to do, how much to drink, what to wear, all that kind of stuff. Relax, how much she's eating. I'm gonna come back to that too. Um, is he no, let me just say it now while I'm thinking about it. Is he like trying to proportion her food? I feel like because he's a yoga guy and he's over here eating um toast with avocados on it, and nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, is he like trying to regulate her portions and things. Something that we haven't seen. I'm not accusing him of it, but when they were having breakfast, she said something about him not allowing her to eat her breakfast or something. And I'm like, it just seems like, Brandon, hopefully you're not doing that too. But I mean, if you be trying to tell people what to do, you just be trying to tell people what to do. Kiki over here telling her friend, I hope he got somebody. That would be the best case scenario. Then it will make me feel even. It's not even. He made attempts to come see you. You had a man. Let's don't bring other stuff into it, Kiki. Two wrongs make a right over there in your boat. Brandon's brother asked them, what have they learned about each other? What did he say about her? Brandon said he's learned that she's caring, she overthinks, that it's her way or the highway, and that she has a drinking problem. Whoa, he came with a list. I don't know if it's her way or the highway. I feel like Brandon, if Kiki decides to drink less as a compromise with you, that's her compromising. That's not you compromising. It feels like you think that you not saying anything about her drinking is don't nobody care. Like the more you say something, the more it's irritating, Brandon. Like you're not doing her a favor. You're not allowing her to do anything. She gonna do what she want to do. You gonna like it or don't like it. So I don't know that that's necessarily her overthinking or what did you say it was? I don't know that that's her way or the highway. I don't know what she's been trying to get her way on. I feel like you two are very different. Kiki be laying around, chilling, having a little cocktail. She thinks she's on vacation. And she very well could be on vacation, but you two don't vacation the same way. So it's probably a no. Like it's been a no, but let's call it a no. I don't know what we're supposed to be working on. Even your brother, Brandon, said this is not like normal circumstances. So if people are in the house like socializing and drinking, it's probably nothing else to do. You know what I mean? So everybody except you, Brandon, you who have been drinking to your limit. It seems like your issue is not the drinking as much as it is you trying to control it, Brandon. He better go get a Labrador Retriever or something because Brandon just wants somebody to be able to tell them what to do. Brandon's brother brings up how Kiki stood him up. He went to Atlanta 4 times to meet her and she ditched him each time. For me, that should have been the end. Brandon, you're going to have to take accountability for this part because if you went once and she didn't show, and then you went another time, like you might give a person a once. From Alabama to Atlanta, that's a fun weekend. If you bring your homie or whatever, I don't know what the circumstances was or what the details were, but clearly you went to Atlanta and you were like, hey, I'm gonna be here, like you made arrangements to go, and she ditched you. And so, okay, and then you go back again. And she ditched you. So for me, that would have been enough. Like, this is the type of person she is. I would not have somebody come all the way here to visit me. I can't catch up with you for dinner or something. Your trip doesn't have to be about me, but you can make sure that I'm gonna spend some time. You know what I'm saying? See if we want to get to know each other better. She ditched you. Not once, not twice, but 4 times. So I wonder, like, Brandon, what is going on with you exactly that you would allow somebody to do that many times to you? Because to me, that's not worth it. That's disrespectful. I guess since the brother brought up this, Kiki feels like she might as well tell him, well, part of the reason why I couldn't meet up with you is because I was still dealing with my man, my ex. Now, dealing with Kiki is saying living with is actually still hiding information. If you were dealing with, that means he was in the picture, but when you were living with, that means y'all were in a relationship all the way in. The way you say things, try to downplay it, Kiki. You used to lying, girl, don't you? Shoot. Now I'm getting irritated. You were not dealing with your ex, you were living with your ex, and you couldn't figure a way to sneak out and go visit this boy. And so you didn't want to lose him, your comfort person. You want to keep him hanging around for when you don't have nothing to do and you need somebody to talk to boost your ego because this man that you're living with is not doing it. So you take advantage of Brandon over here. Both of y'all got a lot going on. She talking about, I can't believe you weren't seeing somebody within the 3 years, 4 years that we were, we hadn't even met each other. Now you want to sit here and make him seem like he's crazy. And at the end of the day, whether he was or wasn't, whether he wasn't, he don't have to tell you. Whatever he was doing was probably not living with someone in a whole relationship. Now, if he dibble and he dabble, that's none of your business. You were living with somebody in the same house with. It's different. So stop trying to say that'll make y'all even because it doesn't. I feel like she's mad at Brandon for not being who she wanted him to be because it didn't give her the out she wanted. Now she's telling her friend, he just acts like all the time like he's Mr. Goody Two Shoes and like he's Mr. Perfect. Well, how? Because he's not doing dirt like you? Or at least you don't know. I'm not saying he's Mr. Perfect. I'm saying he's Mr. I didn't get busted like you did. And then all at the end, you said you shouldn't have probably said nothing. Probably not. Because nothing's going to happen after this anyway. So probably not. Brandon says that's a deal breaker for him. Probably not. Hell, Brandon, you traveled to Atlanta 4 times to go see this girl to get stood up. It's probably not your deal breaker yet. You probably will hang around and look for some more things for her to do that's another deal breaker. She said you got 83 deal breakers. I believe it. I don't know that they're deal breakers, but they're rules. I feel like Brandon has a lot of rules and Kiki is not interested in following them. How do y'all even be friends? After the guests leave, people are lingering around the kitchen because the kitchen is where it goes down. And nobody believes that Brandon has not done anything with during the course of these last 4 years. And nobody surprisingly thinks that Kiki's revelation was that big of a deal. But hell, these are people that have whole babies. Some of them got 4 babies that they haven't discussed. So the fact that you were with your ex, it comes like a little bit down lower on the totem pole of I'm a big fat liar. Seems like everybody had a baby except Kiki. And Jay and Cinco are over there doing what you're supposed to do. Honestly, Brandon being upset is after she stood you up 4 times and you keep coming back. I don't know, like, what really are your deal breakers? Do you have any, or do you just like to say that? Because she's broken the deal. Like, this should have been it. This should have been the deal breaker. The whole reason why, she was standing you up. That should have been your reason, your breaker of the deal. The next morning, Kiki is very unapologetic. This is what I'm talking about. She's like, I understand the initial shock of him saying, finding out about my ex, but good grief. Come on, can we move on now? And I'm like, move on to what? What have y'all actually established? Like, this whole time, you've only talked about how you're an alcoholic. Well, he hasn't used that word. We've said how you have a drinking problem. And you saying you don't want him to touch you, hold your hand, or nothing. Y'all have not formed any type of intimacy. Apparently, y'all been cuddling. I don't know when that happened. Y'all went from don't touch to cuddles. We haven't really seen the cuddles but one time. And Kiki, what happened? What happened magically that took you from a place where you were from a family that doesn't really do physical touch to now you're cuddling? So what did we miss? Brandon talking about, I let you drink. I let you drink as much as you want, and I didn't say nothing. And so, what credit are you looking for that? You ain't supposed to say nothing. That's a grown ass woman. Brandon asked Kiki why she waited so long to tell him, and she's like, things were perfectly perfect between you and I. We hadn't met each other, and I didn't see any reason to shake the table. Now we've met. Now I'm telling you, this is what it was. Now she irritated. She's irritated because he's immediately not forgiving her. She thinks, for goodness sakes, instead of allowing him to work through what he just found out, she wants to point out all the things, negative things that she can think of. You're this, you're overbearing, you're, inconsiderate, and you don't let me talk. And she starts bringing up all these things that he does. And I'm like, well, So if you tell me something that hurts my feelings, I don't get to work through it. She says she's not the only one responsible for the problems in this relationship. And I'm like, if you are having all these problems, they're easily solved. But of course, this girl Kiki wants to hang on to her comfort person. So when she goes home and she gets bored and she's looking for somebody to talk to, then she wants Brandon to be that. And you know what, Kiki, he probably will. Until he gets a real life girlfriend, he probably will be your that. There doesn't seem to be anything you can do that, really turns him away for the most part. Kiki, you're deflecting. This isn't about him and him not being attentive or any of that stupid shit you brought up. This man doesn't have to take accountability for anything that happened over here. You are the one that lied and have been. Y'all were playing that game. They asked you a direct question about secrets and relationships, and you put no on the paper. You lied again. He got irritated. He asked her, like, so do you just want to end it right now after she start, saying all his, bad qualities? She was like, in breakfast, and he's like, no, in this. And she can't believe it. We have one more day to finish the process. Like, I don't understand what he's going through. Now I can't finish my breakfast. He took his breakfast of I don't know what. I guess it was a burrito because it just looks like a whole bunch of stuff piled on top of a tortilla. And so he picked his up and walked away. And she said that he was that somehow like, he said, I'm going to go eat my breakfast. And she was like, after you prevented me from eating mine, eat it, girl. He's going to eat his. That's how they left with Kiki and Brandon. I mean, next week is the last episode. Ain't nothing left to talk about. So we know, I think, no, everybody go home. Go back to the computer where you love each other at. Let's get into Cinco and Jay. Jay and Cinco. Jay and Cinco are not giving us a whole lot of drama, although they like to entertain themselves with the drama that's going on around them. House managers keep things, stirred up a little bit, but not in a messy way necessarily. What they say, light shade, light mess, not anything too deep. I feel like they like each other. So they get to this house. There's nothing wrong with the chemistry. They're into each other. They talk to each other. I feel like Jay, I don't want to call her controlling, but I do feel like she has a hard time letting go of control of, her own situation. She's a single mother of a 4-year-old. She's in Chicago. She's got her support system. I don't know where she falls in terms of siblings, but her sister that came kind of she does a good job of talking sense into Jay. So Cinco, I would say if you really want to get Jay to be on your side, get yourself in a conversation with that sister. I feel like she is going to come with very objective um advice for her sister. But I also feel like this conversation about relocating shouldn't be a conversation. The conversation should be about coming to visit one another and what that's going to look like. Go to Chicago, Cinco, and hang out and become a part of her support system. You know what I mean? She's got people that you need to get to know. You've got people that she needs to get to know. So start there. Let's don't go straight to, are you moving here? Are you moving there? Because y'all ain't there yet. You met this guy that you've been talking to online, and Jay and Cinco, you've met this girl that you've been talking to online, and y'all like each other, and you want to keep going. At this point, like we don't know if they're still even, in anything. It would be nice. Like I'm hoping that that's the case, but right now, I don't know how long ago this was taking place. How many months it was, while they were shooting this, but we don't even know what space they're in. But I think at this point in the conversation, for me, you should be talking about visiting and not so much about moving. They're both 30 years old, so they got a window. You know what I mean? I don't feel like, Jay, your eggs aren't going anywhere anytime soon. You got time to you know, take your time if he's the one. If Cinco comes to Chicago and he gets on that plane and you hate it so much every time y'all have to separate, then then it's time to start making decisions of what are we gonna do. At that point, you will have experienced enough of each other's city to see what that even looks like. It might not even look like what you think. I think we don't always think bigger. Like maybe y'all can stay in both places, to be honest. If that's how, if aside from the baby being in school, until you figure out what your foundation is going to look like, I don't think that's your biggest problem. Um, they go on a little date. It's a cute date. I believe Cinco planned this date because she did the last one. It's one of these places where you go create your own thing, which is a cool thing to experience together. I think Jay and Cinco are very comfortable with each other, so any date they pick was probably going to be very relaxed and very comfortable. This is another way just to get to know each other better, besides sitting at a restaurant asking each other questions. So, I dig it. They both look cute. They're a good-looking couple together. And like I said, the biggest conversation that they had was talking about relocating. Um, her son's 4 years old. If he's going to be around, then he needs to be gradually introduced to this man too, however it's going to look. Based on how guarded she is of that situation, I don't feel like that's going to be a problem necessarily. And like I said, they're still young enough to take their time. That's really all I got for them, child. Who else? Let's talk about Jared and Charlie. So Charlie and Jared. Jared has decided we're at the end of this process, so he might as well go ahead and let this girl know like what is really going on with him. He pulled her to the side. He told her, remember back when we first got here and we were playing that game and we were like, would you leave with your partner today? And my answer was F no. And she was shocked by this information because he told her that, first of all, that he said yes. Second of all, they decided that even though they have been lying for the last 4.5 years, they're going to stop lying to start fresh on a new slate, clean slate. Well, I guess he's still cleaning the slate, girl. And the slate says first of all, let's back up a little bit. When she told him that she had been hiding children for the last 4 years, he told her then he wasn't about to come nowhere and take care of all those children. She didn't want to hear it. I have to reiterate that. Now, she's acting like she didn't stop the man from telling her. She said it herself. She didn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to hear what she knows is the truth. Is this man is not coming to stay with her and her 4 children. 4 children that he knew nothing about. He said initially, like when we came here, I thought that I was going to be able to convince you to come to Carolina with your one child. And okay, he lives in Carolina. He's got 2 children there. I don't know what your big dog lifestyle is in Dallas. You have a beautiful home and you make a lot more money than him, according to you. You don't need his money. This man was not for your children. This man was for yourself, which makes no sense. What does your future look like? You're not looking to have like your partner be some type of positive influence on your children. And I don't know that Jared is that. I don't know that he's not that. I know he's not a good boyfriend. At least not to you. I know that he lies for entertainment because he thinks he's funny. This girl's all like in her feelings because she just can't believe it. She just can't believe Jared lied, even though he'd been lying the whole time. But this new lie has her somehow, really falling apart. They had their family come visit. Jared's sister came, her friend came. Her friend came and she immediately told her friend, like, oh my God, I thought this man liked me, but when he was asked if he would leave with me, he said F no. He wrote it on the paper. But the sex was phenomenal. And so I can't get him out of my heart. That's what she told her friend. He didn't know I had all these children. But when I found out, when I told him I had 3 kids, he said he had one. So we was having children and things and not saying anything about it, both of us. Charlie sits down with Jared's sister and, they all come together. And basically, she says that she just didn't want to hear that nobody wants her because she got all them kids. And she would do herself a much better service if she spoke about them in the beginning. You give a person to choose, they will love you and your children if they're right for you. Nobody wants to have kids sprung up because aside from the reality, Jared is like, I can't even think about, I don't want to raise all them kids. And he keeps saying kids that aren't mine. So that's going to be an issue because he has kids that are his. And I don't like the way he phrases that. So why would you want somebody like that anywhere around your kids? I felt like in the beginning I said this lady is slow, and I'm like, I feel like she's slow for real. It's not registering. He keeps on telling her like, I'm ready to go. We can leave. I'm good. Like I came here conquered and now I'm out. I feel like when you told him you had his name tattooed on your body, he knew what time it was. And he came over here ready to play. And he did not play you. You played yourself. At the end of the day, that's what happened. Anyway, she sits down with the sister, and the sister basically tells her, like, you're a mother. That's not something to be ashamed of. Maybe, you should lead with that when you're trying to date somebody because that's a positive thing, and anybody that loves you will love your children. Not my brother, but somebody will. That's basically what she said. And this lady is over here talking about, I don't know, I have some things to think about. I don't think you got anything to think about, Charlie. I'm not sure what you keep thinking about, but this man here is just gonna like live out these next few days, enjoy himself, enjoy the view, and be the hell back home. I don't know that there's any more discussion. I don't know what discussion she's waiting on. I think Charlie needs to be with no one. She needs to figure out why she thinks so little of herself. I feel like she's not the only one. There's obviously, I feel like there's a lot of people, that are like Charlie. Now, I don't like her because I don't like how she do other people. Talking behind their back and grinning in their face because that's what the type of stuff she does. And so maybe, Charlie, you should focus on learning how to be a better person in general. And then you can work from there. Anybody who denies their children doesn't need to be in any relationship with anybody. You need to figure out how to, you know, get past those issues that you're carrying around over there. I mean, I don't really have anything to say about Jared except he's probably not going to change. So whoever he ends up with, congratulations on your life because he's a doozy. This week, here they go. They're sitting outside. And Charlie says, we've talked about this couple and that couple. Basically, they've been all up in the people's business trying to advise them on what they should do. He did have some advice for Brittany. He told Brittany last week, like, you don't even like this man. You like him, but you're not attracted to him. Don't seem like she like him. And he said, she's doing a whole lot for you and you ain't doing nothing for the man. That's what he said last week. We're not talking about Brittany. We'll get to that. Anyway, she said they were, all up in everybody's business. She said, but it's not easy when you hear it about you. I can't remember what she asked him. Does it make him feel bad or how does it make him feel when people offer up their advice? And he said he don't listen to nobody's advice. So he don't really worry about it. He'll listen to it, he said, but it's probably going to go in one ear, out the other. So everything that his sister said to him last week, he's like, I hear you, but I'm probably still going to keep doing what I'm doing. And then she follows up with, well, would you listen to me? And he was like, well, of course. But I don't, I care about you, feel differently about you than I do other people. And all of a sudden she has a whole aha moment. Oh my God, this guy is just saying to me what I want to hear. Yes. I feel like he's admitted to that more than one occasion. He keeps on telling you that's what he brought you over here on hopes of, getting what he got, and he got it. Now he's ready to go. Secrets, no secrets, don't matter to him because he wasn't staying no way. That's what I'm getting. You've been creating fairy tales in your head and then believing it when you know better because you've been told repeatedly. Here you are still looking for a conversation to figure things out. Even after that, even after this conversation where you have your aha moment and you realize that he is just saying whatever it is you want to hear, not meaning any of it, and you follow that up with you have some things to work out and figure out. You better figure out which flight you're going to take back to Dallas. What you don't need to figure out is what's going to happen with Jared because absolutely nothing. Will he hit you up from time to time? Probably. And tell you everything you want to hear. He's been doing it for years. So much like everybody else, we have one more week, and Charlie feels not even one more week. They have one more day. They have one more day in the house. Jared has decided he's going to enjoy this view and, get lost in his own thoughts. He is literally out loud laughing. He enjoyed this whole villain role that he came over here to play. At your expense. But nobody's going to have respect for you if you don't have no respect for yourself or the children that you created. I don't have any respect for that. I don't even know why you're here. Now you look a fool. Now you're having a sad, sad day. Ciao. And then you got Alexis and Chris. And child, I almost forgot about them. Shoot. Alexis and Chris, I honestly almost forgot that they were still here. Last week, they went to a little therapy session with Dr. Allie. And Chris, as usual, doesn't answer questions. He's calling this lady controlling and aggressive. And Dr. Allie asked him, like, what about her is controlling? And aside from his laundry, he really couldn't come up with nothing. And she asked her directly, what do you find about her specifically that's controlling? And he said that he can sense things very easily. And he knows a lot about control because his father was controlling. And he goes all the way into how many step parents he had and how he watched them, like, I don't know, exercise their control amongst one another. I don't know what this has to do with Lex, but this is how he's trying to spin it. I don't know what's going on in this man's head. But she seems to like it. Dr. Allie brings up that same game that, happened with Jared and them. She said, what's up with this game? You said, would you leave with your person? And he laughed and he said no. And Lexi says she's shocked. And I'm like, why are you shocked? He hasn't given you any reason so far to think that anything is happening. He hasn't said anything nice. He hasn't been affectionate. Everything that you were saying about Ty, you could say the same thing about yourself because this man ain't giving you no type of energy. But we still over here waiting for it. At this point, it's a little tired to even bring up the fact that this man needs to, sit down with a preschool teacher or something. Anyway, that's all they really had going on. They went on a date. The date didn't convince me that he liked her any more than, any other thing that they've done together. He criticized her weight as if he didn't have this little beer belly, sitting over top of his pants. So she picks a date where they go work out. And I'm like, that, I guess. So that's what they did. They went and worked out and they came back and, nothing like usual. And well, poor Ty, Brittany and Ty. This is what happens when you be down to the dinner table playing games. Last week, he took this lady to a nice date at his house. He fixed all the foods and things that she liked. She, allowed him to cater to her, but did she give him any type of attention? No. She's not interested in this man. What's his name? Jared. Jared told her, you're not interested in this guy. And she like, I mean, I am, but I'm not, you're not. And now we're finding out that she been running around here putting her hands on everybody, man. So let's back it up a little bit. After the date, Ty, for whatever reason, thinks they had great conversation and the date went really well, even though he knows that she wasn't reciprocating or giving him any type of affection. That's not what she wants from him. She just wants him to be her do boy. And that's not cool, to be honest. We get down to the dinner table. We playing another one of these question games orchestrated by Cinco and Jay. Cinco done already said we know who's the next to leave. He wasn't wrong. So they're playing the game. They get down to these two, and their question is, are they sexually compatible? She hemmed and hawed and mean and mawed and embarrassed the man, and then finally presses out a yes. Maybe, yes. He answers flat out no. Like this man is not stupid. He's not gonna keep letting you play him. Now you're playing him in front of everyone. And because he didn't lie and say yes, like she did, now she's in her feelings. So she gets up and walks up and she's in the kitchen and he didn't protect her. I wish y'all would stop with that. I don't even know, like, are y'all even using protection in the same, I mean, in the right place? It doesn't make sense some of the time. Protect you from what? You're down at the table playing a game. You don't like him. So why didn't you just say, no, I don't? Put the man out of his misery, but no, you want to play with him. And the thing about it is, you've told everyone in the house knows what you really feel about him, but you won't say it to him. But you'll make him like cook you eggs and, wait on you hand and foot. Anyway, he's tired of it. The people are tired of it. Jay tells her, like, maybe if you touched your man like he was over here touching everybody else, man, he wouldn't feel that way. So now it turns into an exchange between Brittany and Jay. Honestly, I don't know why this lady Brittany is over here pretending like in any world it would be okay for her to be tickling somebody's man or any man that you're not interested in. I think tickling is flirting. I think if you tickle my man while I'm standing there, it's getting ready to be a problem. And I think most people feel that way. She was all leaning in on Chris. Like, to her, all these men, they're handsome. If what I'm doing is not really flirting, people perceive it that way, maybe she should stop. She should stop. Everybody could see that she's giving more attention to these other men that she didn't come with than she is to Ty. And if you're not into Ty, then say that. Why are you trying to play with this man? And we can all see it. So, and this is the thing about Brittany. For some reason, she's acting like she's above him, like he's not on her level. Girl, I'm not even going to touch on the things they were saying about her on the internet. The internet over there on them fan page was tearing her ass up. I thought it was mean. I wouldn't do that. But I'm just saying, the audacity of you to feel like, you're above these people. You just don't have time for it. And I was giving gaslighting, Brittany. Are you trying to tell us we ain't looking at what we looking at? Because we see it the same way everybody else sees it. I'm not going to get into her and Jay, you promiscuous and blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, she's not as slick as she thinks she is. And none of those men were giving her the attention that she was trying to get to. Ty says that, he found himself in this position before where he keeps on being nice and nothing comes from it. Well, maybe what you're giving should be genuine, Ty. I understand that things can be transactional. However, because I mean, I feel like if you're nice to a person, you're not necessarily nice expecting something in return, but you at least niceness. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? So if you're going into this situation over here where you've been talking to someone online for months and you meet in person, if disappointment is what you feel, disappointment is what you are. You're not going to be able to change that. And I mean disappointment in terms of being physically attracted to this person. I feel like whatever Ty is giving over here, he was giving it on the internet. So what is it that you wanted from him? Are you one of these girls that's like, I'm gonna get this dude to buy me shoes and purses? I don't know what kind of money he make, but I just don't understand why you put so much energy into someone that you were not feeling. You gave his brother more affection, Cinco and Chris and Brandon and everybody but Ty. Girl, you need to reevaluate yourself. And then you're over here like not obviously making any relationships with these girls because when you shoot a show like this, you can walk away with a friendship at least. And don't seem like you did that. They made a decision to part ways. It was the right decision. We were tired of it. And when she walked out the house, when she left the house, she decided she wasn't going to say goodbye to anyone. She walked past those people like they did something to her. I mean, I give Jay credit because I wouldn't have been able to keep my mouth shut. I would have had to say something day one. Before, down to the dinner table where we were playing card games, I would have had to get that off my chest. I'm not about to stay up here in this house with this lady tickling and poking and whatever the thing she was doing over there. So they're out. So we're down to who? Jared. Next week is the last week. Jared is not going home with Charlie, so she could sit up in that room and contemplate and look at the ceiling one more night, her and Kiki both. Kiki knows that she's going home alone. There's no, do you even like Brandon? I don't, and him, her, like they don't seem to have very much in common, so I don't know what they're, holding on so hard to nothing for. Who else? Chris and Alexis, girl, you are too damn old to be chasing some D. That's all I have to say about that. At this point in your life, you should be able to lure it over there to you and, get whatever it is you're looking to get. Jay and Cinco, I'm hoping to see, you know, that they have moved on to the next step, the next level of their relationship. And yeah, so that's what we're going to wrap this up. If you haven't had a chance to, go check out my interview with Hussein for Ready to Love. I have a lot of trouble with his name. And I didn't want to say it wrong. So I'm very proud of myself. Go check out the interview though. It was very, very good. He's a very cool dude. And yeah, like this video, subscribe to my channel. Feel like I've mentioned that before. And on Friday night after the show, make sure you check out me and the cousins on Another Rounds channel. I'll put the link in the description box because yeah, the chat be lit. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.